Yeah, unmute yourself, Robert.
Hey man, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, good. First of all, I really enjoy your content. So thank you for putting stuff out like this so guys like me can learn jujitsu.
Awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, I hadn't seen anybody really do anything like this, so I was like, hey, I want to do it.
There you go. So I'm a career blue belt, it feels like at this point. I got my RCJ Machado blue belt in 2013. If you can see my picture, I enlisted and then I've been traveling. So I haven't really had an opportunity to stay at a school for, longer than a year or two. I
Okay.
was, um, I don't know or when do you feel like you're ready for the next phase? Like, I really want to belt. I felt like I've had this belt for so long at this point. Um, when do you feel like you are there?
When do you feel that you're at the next belt level?
Yeah.
I'm. That's a tough one. I recently had a friend of mine. He just got his purple belt, and uh he was kind of questioning the belt. And honestly, I feel that more people need to have faith in their instructors. When the instructor is ready for you. I know your case is a little bit different, but usually when the instructor is ready, that's when you're ready. It's kind of hard to gauge when you're ready. I guess, you should be feeling more confident in your roles against higher belts. Maybe you're competing a little bit, you're placing. I guess that's like a tangible way to measure how you're progressing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in your opinion, what's the difference between a purple belt and a blue belt other than just like one's better than the other?
I think I mean blue belts, pretty much a beginner belt. It's the first belt, and hopefully at that point they've got some of the basics down. They kind of know what to do. You're not too worried about them as far as like I don't need to hold their hand when they're doing the techniques. And I think at purple belt, it's when you kind of I say like at purple belt people get their swag. They kind of like they're confident, they're moving really well. A little cocky. You got to be a little cocky at purple belt. And then that's when I believe at purple belt you start you, you're technical, you have technique, and you're kind of like you can start attacking. You can start like your things are kind of coming together. They're kind of putting things together. They're not as sometimes blue belts kind of hesitate or a little too wild. Blue belts can be all over the place, but purple belts kind of the technique's getting solidified. They're making very technical decisions when they're rolling. Um, that's basically what I'm looking for. If they're using a technique, I can understand what they're trying to do, and they have some confidence in what they're doing, and they're not as reckless as what when they were blue belts. You're not as crazy, a little bit more controlled, and you kind of see this in tournaments. Usually, purple belts like the most exciting. They're the most exciting fighters. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah,
yeah, like I said, I've had this belt for so long. I
yeah,
just I
it's been a bit.
Yeah, yeah, and I have a good idea of what game I like. I'm a um, X guard guy, and I've got pretty good side control pressure, and I have a baseball bat choke, and I'm just trying to be well rounded at this point
Hmm.
and consistent. I would love to stay at a place for longer. Um, but I appreciate your time. I'm sure there's other people. Thank you again for doing stuff like this.
One thing
Uh,
I will say is, have you are so where are you training at now? Are you like kind of
So, my instructor, he was with Yamasaki for like 20 years, and he
mhm.
recently became unaffiliated. So right now we're just kind of doing our own thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's one downside of jujitsu. It's always like the affiliation stuff is like a whole nother element. So sometimes like you might be like you might be at the next level, but maybe an instance like that situation occurs, and then like your instructor can't give you the belt now because he's not in the or IBJF, or it won't be recognized or something like that. So sometimes like it's not even about you. Sometimes like in the background, like stuff is going on in the background where the guy can't give you the belt. So it's not. It's usually it's not that cut and dry. Have you talked to your instructor any?
No,
No.
no, I know it's really subjective, and we just
Hmm.
started training back here in DC. I don't know when they like allowed that sort of stuff, but it's only been a couple months since our school's been back open because of COVID. And they don't do stripes, so you're just that belt until one day when you're not. Uh,
I
my
think man, go compete. Have you competed at any at blue belt?
Yeah, not since COVID. But I haven't. Uh, it's been a couple years just with doing my army thing.
I would try to make that happen. Again, if you're winning these tournaments at blue belt, there's it's like it gets to a point to where people are like, all right, we got to get this guy out of this belt.
That's a good point. I appreciate your time, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.